Hi everyone, it's Carol here. Is your anxiety what is keeping you awake at night, either making it hard for you to fall asleep, stay asleep, or even wake up feeling refreshed because you're feeling anxiety when you go to bed? Or you might even just be feeling anxiety in your everyday tasks during the day. And that's what I want to talk about today in this video because I have a lot of people who reach out to me where they feel the anxiety is the cause of their sleep issues. And they're not wrong. They're actually right. So, what is anxiety? And how can we help manage this so that we can sleep at night? So if you stay towards the end of this video, I'm actually going to give you 3 gentle tips to help you reduce your anxiety so that you can fall asleep quicker. If you want to do me a favor, I would appreciate it if you would actually subscribe to my YouTube channel, that you would share this video with anyone that you know is struggling with anxiety and it's affecting their sleep, or even leave a comment and let me know if this video was helpful or not for you. I'd love to hear from you. So the first thing I want to say about anxiety is that, and I learned this from Irene Lyon. I love Irene Lyon. I follow her a lot, and she would not name it anxiety. She would name it survival stress caught in our nervous system. And I get that because anxiety is a manifestation of a nervous system who's in fight or flight. Is that anxious energy? Is that like, oh, unease that we feel? And when we feel that, it lets us know that our nervous system in that moment is perceiving something dangerous. And so I want to talk about the nervous system just quickly here. I have other videos on that, and you can also go search it up. Just it's everywhere on the internet. But basically, our nervous system has these 3 states. We have our ventral system, our sympathetic, and then our dorsal. In the Better Sleep community, because they were having a hard time remembering ventral and dorsal, because they're not common words, we decided to make it ventral be that very good energy. So, meaning that it's our social engagement, is where we feel good, we feel grounded, we can have compassion, curiosity as a very good energy. Our sympathetic, which is our fight flight, we change that to stormy seas or anything that starts with an S, like stress. Stormy seas means the sympathetic. And so this is where anxiety comes in. When our nervous system is in this sympathetic mode, we feel anxiety or we feel this unease in our body and we name it anxiety. So that's the sympathetic. And then we have our dorsal. So in the nervous system, the dorsal, one of the ladies in the group named it her shutdown mode because the D for dorsal, and it's her down mode is where she's feeling lower energy, which is what dorsal is. It's when we're in that sympathetic, that stormy seas for too long, our nervous system is so overwhelmed that it eventually, like I like to say, the stormy seas are brewing, and then the dorsal comes shutting it down because it's like it's too much. But the sympathetic, that fight flight, is still underneath. So for people who say, I go to bed and I really like, I'm not thinking about anything, I'm calm as can be, I still can't sleep. It is most likely because now this shutdown has come on top of the stormy seas and makes it really, really hard to fall asleep because it's still revving in our nervous system. So, what is the role of our nervous system, right? Because anxiety that is happening is letting us know that something is out of control. And so, what I do know is that our nervous system is always there to protect us, or it is trying to protect us at all time. However, it can have some mismatch cues. So I want to talk about cues of perceived safety and cues of perceived danger. And I say perceived because the reality is my physical safety might not be in any danger as I lay in my bed. Like I have a video called, is there a tiger sitting on your bed? Which means that I walk into my bedroom. So my nervous system is picking up on cues of perceived danger, which is my bed. And the bed should not be a cue of perceived danger, but it's picking it up because it's thinking, well, like I spent a lot of nights in that bed without sleeping. And so now our nervous system sees that as a cue of perceived danger. And we're wanting to teach our nervous system that that could be a cue of perceived safety if I do the work to change the mismatch in my nervous system. Oftentimes, when we find ourselves having a hard time falling asleep or like waking up through the night not being able to sleep, there's some common mistakes that we all do, myself included, that really doesn't help our nervous system calm down. So some of the things that we might do is we might actually stay in bed when we're anxious, instead of getting out of bed to deal with the anxiety and do some tapping or journaling or something to ease our mind to get back to bed, then to not create that negative sleep association with our bed. A lot of people will start scrolling on their phones and they'll say, well, that's the one thing I do that helps me calm down. And yes or no, it might help you calm down, but it's actually not helping with the dysregulation in your nervous system, because you start doom scrolling and you'll be awake for hours just looking at the next TikTok or looking at the next YouTube reel or something. Or you might even be watching this at 3 o'clock in the morning. And if you are, I appreciate you watching my video, but can you put it down and then really think about what can I do to help with this anxiety? And this is where I want to talk about the gentle tools, right? So first of all, I'm going to give you some tools, but I don't want you to just do these in the middle of the night. I want you to start doing these during the day, because what we do during the day, how we deal with our accumulated daily stress during the day, will actually help us sleep better at night. One of my favorite tools, well, actually, I have two favorite. It's hard to pick which one. It depends on the day. Orienting or tapping. So I'm going to talk about both. So orienting for me, I learned this through Irene Lyon through Nancy Forster, my mentor with tapping. She also uses a lot of orienting. I do believe it was developed maybe by Peter Levine. It's not something new that I created, but orienting is really about looking outside our external environment and picking up on cues of safety in our external environment. So I'm starting to wire my nervous system during the day with, oh, that's safe, it's not dangerous. So I'm going to use one thing here in my room. I brought I made my husband buy me flowers the other day. We were at the store and I was like, oh, I love these flowers. And then I just put them in his hands and I said, oh, you're buying me flowers, right? So when I look at these flowers and they're on my desk, I've had them for it's been a week today, and look how beautiful they are. So I'm going to look at my flowers. And for me, that is a cue of safety. It's a cue of love. It's a cue of taking care of myself, getting my husband to buy me the flowers. It really brings me joy. So it's a cue of safety. So during the day, I want to orient to my environment and find things like that that are bringing joy into my heart. You're going to say, well, Carol, looking at your flowers during the day is not going to help you sleep at night. No, but it is building resiliency in my nervous system so that when something that causes anxiety comes up, I can then be able to take a step back and say, okay, what are the things in my environment that are actually really safe? And so that's orienting for me. So we do it with, what do I hear? What do I smell? What do I feel? Um, and it helps us notice, also there's two types of orienting. We talk about that in the Better Sleep community. There's exploratory orienting and defensive orienting. So we want to add some exploratory orienting. Defensive orienting happens automatically, because if I was doing this video and all of a sudden I heard the sirens going by, my ears would pick up on the siren noise and I would be like, oh, what's going on? Is it coming here or not? All right, so that just happens automatically, but we want to start orienting to good things in our life. And then the second tool is tapping. So tapping for me really helped calm my amygdala, the emotional center of the brain, and allowed me to sit and actually name what I was feeling. So we learn this technique in the Better Sleep community as well, called holding the truth tapping. There's different kinds of tapping, like tapping, whichever way you tap that works for you, just keep it going. But holding the truth tapping is really, for me, the best technique that I have found to get myself back in the present moment. So I'm going to just give you a little bit example. And if you want to learn more about this technique, just reach out to me via email and I'll definitely, we can connect and we can talk about this. But it's just like, even though I'm feeling anxious right now, when I look at my bed, right? So I'm anxious because I'm in bed and I can't sleep. I'm anxious because I'm sitting on the couch, and now maybe I'm not anxious anymore. If I actually got out of bed and got to sit on the couch because I wasn't able to sleep, then maybe I want to start tapping on, even though this really sucks that I'm sitting on the couch instead of my bed sleeping, right? It's annoying. It's annoying. And really get what you're feeling. So maybe I will link, I have 3 tapping meditations for better sleep. And one of them is rant tapping in the middle of the night. So I'll put that there so you can start really looking at how can you support yourself. Now, this is not something that is I'm not going to say it's hard to do, but it's not always easy to do because our lives are busy and we go, go, go. And then we hear this information, think, great, I'm going to implement that in my life. But then we don't do it because life is busy. So I'm going to offer you something else that I'm doing. So I decided, even though my programs are geared for better sleep, what we're really doing though is learning about our nervous system, learning what works for us, what doesn't work for us. So starting June 3rd, 2025, I'm going to do a 6-week nervous system awareness course. We're just going to really learn about our nervous system, what are cues of safety in my nervous system, what are cues of danger, and really individual to you. So we start on June 3rd, and it's only going to be available for 10 people. I want to keep the group small, and I really want us to focus on where is this anxiety coming from, and what can I do to understand what's happening inside my nervous system that is reflecting out into the world as anxiety. That's really is the goal of the 6 weeks. And it's really just focus on nervous system. We can ask questions about sleep or relationships or whatever else, it doesn't matter. The goal is to each individual to be able to better understand their nervous system at the end of the 6 weeks. So if you want to join me for that, you can go in the description below. There'll be a link where you can sign up. There's only 10 spots. So if you know for sure you want to be part of the 10, just sign up right away so that you don't miss your spot. If you still have questions, then send me an email at support@sleepsuccessacademy.com, and I'll be sure to answer all your questions before you sign up. So that's it for today. Anxiety really sucks. Really, it does. It doesn't feel good. Been there, done that. Panic attacks are awful. And panic attacks, to me now, the way I see them, are this too much sympathetic energy in my nervous system that just really needs to release, and it explodes into a panic attack. I haven't had one of those in about 7 years, so I'm excited, but I know how awful they feel. So if you want to learn more about how to support your nervous system, just let me know. I can't wait to see you in the call.